photographer and teaching artist.
Actor, director, writer.
I am a playwright and essayist.
I'm a percussionist and teaching artist.
I'm a director, actor.
A visual artist.
Singer, writer.
I'm a theater maker and teaching artist.
I'm an artist with an interest in social justice.
I'm a visual artist.
I'm a musician and composer.
I'm a soprano. Rachel Ries, singer, writer, and I play piano, guitar, drums, and other things. The first thing I ever remember wanting to do was play music. I'm pretty shy and have a hard time talking sometimes, but singing was the way that I could speak and tell a story. I'm from South Dakota, and I come from a very spiritual place, and that comes up a lot in what I write about. Relationships, the land, the tug and pull, the living in the city, the longing for the country. Stories, stories, stories.
I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go back to the world I never knew.
When I play and when I share songs with people, nothing gives me such a completely multi-layered, deep joy to produce. I'm happy doing many things in this life, many creative pursuits, but music is the one that for some reason has all these sides to it and makes me feel wretched and totally beautiful all at the same time. If you can wring the goosebumps and the tears out of people in a really good way, that's a great accomplishment. It might sound a little bit callous, but after people see me play, if they come up to me and say that I made them cry, I feel really happy.
Cheryl Lynn Bruce, actor, director, writer, alchemist. I remember every year in our grade school, each classroom would do a dance on the stage, and there was one 8th grader who was chosen to introduce each class. I don't know how I was chosen, but I was, and I remember standing on the stage, looking out in the auditorium, having a moment that this felt like, it felt so right.
Didn't he tell you he didn't love you? Tell the truth, Bess. You know he didn't love you. You were my sister. It didn't matter if he loved me or not. You were my sister, and you knew that I loved him.
I began as a performer, and my love of language and writing served me well. I became an interested and involved part of the process.
We're going to that city.
Going to the city of the ball.
Oh, what a beautiful city, Mr. Citizen. It's a city like you ain't never seen. All the palaces.
I often played older characters and more complicated characters. I was never the ingenue, ever. Recently, I played an old ingenue, and it was a very unsettling role to be. I think it was my first stage kiss, too, so it was outrageous.
Neither do I.
Those roles charged me to act widely and look for challenging projects and find out what it has to say to me and hopefully other people.
Larry Lee, I'm a visual artist who works in many, many media. I allow for the ideas to sort of dictate approach, but the main idea usually deals with roughly who I am, how I grew up. In old-fashioned terms, that might be regarded as identity. I think a fancier way of saying it is the politics of representation nowadays. The Asian American diaspora is really something pan-Asian as well, and so I'm interested to explore specifically, through the stereotypes that regard, art and design, Not, the bigger questions so much as the smaller takes that refer to what I call orientalia, these things that people take for granted. My takeout carton piece, what would be something prevalent in our everyday lives, thinking about ordering Chinese food to go. It's sort of a nod, as just everyday quotidian materials that I wanted to explore something that's culturally charged, that has, a specific function, and subvert it, make it a little bit more beautiful. I want to make visible the forgotten and the invisible.
Jessica Hudson. I'm a theater maker and a teaching artist. Teaching artistry feeds me. It feeds my work, and this is my focus right now, and this is my 10th year doing teaching artist work, and I'm so interested in that feeding, that cyclical nature of teaching artist work and my artist work. They're both called work. The work I do to make money, the work I do to make my art, and yet they have to feed each other, and there's so much room for that. I think that I need to tap into that personally, and we as a field need to tap into that more, that place for putting your own work into the classroom. This idea of flight is fascinating to me. The word, of course, can go many ways. It's the first project that I really explicitly put some content that I'm also researching in my own work. That notion of hope and engineering, and this idea of these people who are standing on the ground and looking up and thinking, I want to go there. I want to see the world from that point of view. And what better concept that's broad enough but specific enough flight to give to kids to work with. We designed wings, and we built choreography, and we made music, and then we took all of that and put it in front of the public. The kids were being witnessed in a really positive manner by friends and family, but also by total strangers. And for an elementary school age student, that is one of the most it's just one of the biggest gifts you can give them.
Tatsu Aoki, bassist, composer, and a musician. I play bass and 3-string lute called shamisen. As far as I can remember, there was an instrument in my house. We did Japanese geisha music. Geisha music has a lot to do with improvising. Ever since I was small, I would learn the song and was educated, taught to play differently every time. I grew up, I spent my time in this 70s, and it's just about the time of the Tokyo underground arts movement. People told me about jazz, people told me about the musicians in Chicago. So I just decided, oh, I have to go there to see. Even if I just play the bass and the music, my bass line has a lot to do with the Japanese music. Who you are is what you sound like. And that's always been my main focus on the music that I play, is I will play who I am, and what I play should sound like who I am. I cannot not play music which does not have a relationship with my Japanese upbringing. It's part of my drive that I feel that I can present artwork, and that will tell people about our Asian American life. And hopefully I'm doing a little bit of that by performing.
Jamil Khoury, and I am a playwright and essayist. I'm artistic director of Silk Road Theater Project and one of the co-founders. The Middle East is a part of the world that has always figured very prominently into my own story. My father came here from Syria. I've been going to that part of the world since I was 5.
In Arabic, al-Nakbah means the catastrophe. It's the word we used to describe the war in 1948 when we were expelled from our country.
You mean Israel's war of independence?
Independence, perhaps for Israelis, but certainly not for us.
This passion, if you will, for that part of the world and for the cultures of the Middle East is something that greatly informs my art, and also questions of gender, of sexuality, identity politics as they play themselves out in a very American context. I find that to be very challenging in a rewarding way. I think we can be very daring in the creation of art. I sometimes like to see myself as a bit of a provocateur.
The fact of the matter is that you are ashamed of being a lesbian, and instead of confronting that shame, you hide behind your culture.
I'm going to fight for gay rights in Palestine when we don't even have our own state!
I don't know if a play really changes a person entirely, but that idea of planting seeds and that idea of maybe messing up our neat, tidy, orderly worldviews is something that we need.
Robin Hewlett. I'm an artist with an interest in social justice. My concept of art has developed to be much more about the process of questioning and the way of looking at the world than about object or situation or performance. So Chicago has a really interesting history of artists working outside of galleries and outside of conventional art settings, doing politically and socially active work and really pushing at those boundaries. Our backstory is a cafe and a social center space that's located in Woodlawn, and it's created interesting opportunities for worlds that don't always meet to end up in the same room. We've been doing cooking workshops with some of the young people, and also just art activities. Ultimately, I think I'm trying to work towards different ways of being together. So even in small pockets with other people, we're experimenting at communication in different ways and building relationships in different ways. And so that might not be anything, tangible or concrete that you can put your finger on, but that over time sort of unfolds into creating a different kind of culture. If we're thinking that another world is possible, a different way of being together is possible, then my practice, the direction I'm trying to take it in, is imagining that and trying to manifest that in collaboration with others.
Cecil McDonald Jr., photographer and teaching artist. My work as a teaching artist is based in mentorship. Photography, sound, writing, poetry supports all of that. I realized that I was always looking at things, really seeing the world in a very intense way. And photography, through photography, I learned that I could capture that and fix it and show it to people. Teaching photography is a very abstract thing, and we just found that we could talk all day about photographs and we could show them examples of it, but still it wouldn't click that I'm not close enough to the subject. So what the Remix project did was, it had the dual function of showing master works, and the other function was, okay, if I copy this photograph, I'm really trying to replicate what the artist did. And it's a common art school assignment. So each student had their own assignment to do that took place at home, in the neighborhood, in the community, but then it was a school-wide project. I teach art in a way to integrate the education and their lives. Through my professionalism, through my travels, I can bring the world to them. If they can see agency or ownership of their lives in the educational process, I think I really hit a mark then. What I found is that through this work, I could show other students, young people, you could be creative. There's ways to make your way in the world. And even if you're not an artist per se, i.e. you make your living as an artist, whatever you end up doing, creativity can become part of that. And that's kind of like my mantra now, that creativity is everywhere. And we have to grasp it and hold on to it, nurture it. And our young people and our old people as well. It's not something that's only the domain of the artist.
Nicole, Cabell, Soprano. I find that classical music in particular and opera bring these wonderful concepts and grand stories to people, and they allow them to feel something and to escape into another world. What drives me to do what I do is a sense of contributing something to the world that I feel is not only uniquely something I'm talented at, but something I believe adds beauty and meaning to the world.
Edward Torres. I'm a director, actor. I have a theater company that I've been dealing with called Teatro Vista, and I've been the artistic director there for about 15 years. The theater community in Chicago is amazing, and I'm really, really proud of being a part of that community, of having Teatro Vista be a part of that community, and just being involved in being able to tell stories where people can come together even though they are different. Whether it's entertaining or has something to say or, you know, gives you a message, it's a collaborative place.
Here are the facts about Chad deity, organized in handy numbered outline form. Number 1, Chad deity is extremely muscular. Number 2, Chad deity has a winning smile. Number 3, Chad deity is good on the mic.
Chad deity is so rich, Oprah does his laundry. Chad deity is a bad mother.
Shut your mouth.
There's nothing like being on stage and communicating with somebody and being connected.
Old Glory makes his move. He approaches cautiously, still giving the impression that the fundamentalist is one to be feared. But I know that Old Glory is about to put some serious hurt.
As an actor and especially as a director, to be able to be involved in all that and put those stories together where you can actually give some insight into humanity, to me, it's what I live for.
Luis Romero, visual artist. You don't choose to be an artist. It's almost a biological thing, you know? Of course, there's training and there's knowledge that has been gathered, but the primary impulse is something it's a very personal need that's not satisfied otherwise. I'm fascinated with paper. I'm fascinated with marks, making marks with different materials, creating optical illusions, combining different tools to make marks. Very interested also in the materials, you know, and the qualities of the paint. My drawings are a surface, but they also want to suggest something that you cannot see. In recent years, what I've been doing is doing constructions on paper, layered drawings that work both as an object and also as a drawing and depict illusory space. I like it when people are trying to see what's behind the drawing, because that means that they are intrigued and it's provoking something in their imaginations. If they can think that the drawing continues, it's not only that surface that you see, but it's something that is behind that surface, and that maybe the line continues somewhere else in the infinite or somewhere else, then that's fantastic.
Jamie Topper, I'm a percussionist and teaching artist. I feel most passionate about coming to this work from an ethnological approach. My background is in anthropology, and I see schools and classrooms and communities as cultures that are deserving of respect and care. 2, 3, 4. People have been incredibly generous with their own ethnic traditions and sharing them with me. Exploring cultural traditions that are not my own has forced me to get down to the human impulses behind it. One of the most inspiring projects that I've worked on was the Street Cries project at Rush Children's Hospital.
Now we hit them shoes like a looking glass, them shoes gonna do the natural laugh, shine.
Who's making all that sound in the hospital gown? Crying for medication all over the town. Pain. Pain. This medication's gonna calm you down, turn that frown upside down. Pain. Pain. It can help you feel better, help you get well, stop the pain that's ringing your bell. Pain. Pain.
One of the most important things that I want to get across with my students comes from respect. Respect for their creative ideas and just the feeling that their ideas are really important and that the world needs their stories. The world needs their ideas.
Oh, Chicago, come and find us, come and hold us, come and be with us. Oh, Chicago.